You know, in today's society, I think it's cruel and unusual punishment to be sentenced to 5 years in prison, rapists and murderers, and for missing a court date. That's basically what happened. I missed a court date.
You missed being a father.
You didn't have to come.
Hold on, lady. Explain to me, what is it you're trying to say?
A couple of days after the memorial, you're wanting a copy of Nick's death certificate. What'd that tell you? You want some money, though, right? For your baby.
Excuse me.
And then people are telling me that she's now pregnant with Tommy's daughter, but she's doing the same thing to Tommy that she did. That she was sleeping around with Tyler at the same time. There was actually 2 people, but the other guy is not here, so I'm not going to use his name. He was allegedly messing around with that.
I would love to know.
Mr. Menaire claims he spent 5 years in prison unjustly for failing to pay child support for a child he was never proven to be the biological father of. Ms. Sear asserts she has proof that Mr. Menaire is indeed the father, aiming to prove it in court to stop him from shirking his responsibilities. Get ready, because the drama is just heating up.
5 years in prison for failing to pay child support for the defendant, Ms. Sear's son, and it was never proved that you are his biological father. You argue you are here to prove that he is the father of your son.
Here's where it gets juicy. Mr. Menaire explains the circumstances of his arrest and conviction. He describes his relationship with Ms. Sear as a one-time encounter and disputes any ongoing relationship. Despite his lack of presence at the court hearing, he was named the father by default, leading to his criminal charges for failing to pay child support. Brace yourselves. The story takes a turn here.
She was best friends with my aunt. We all lived in the same little community. I knew of her, I knew her, I've spoken to her. To be crude, but it was a one-night stand.
I don't care what your version was. I was far from a one-night stand.
Living across the street from...
It really matters whether it was a one-night stand or a 2-day trip.
My biggest
Strap in for more turbulence. The consequences of not attending the court session led to Mr. Menaire's arrest 3 years later. He details the hardships of proving his paternity while incarcerated and expresses his gratitude for the show's role in potentially resolving his paternity doubts. The tension mounts. Watch what unfolds next.
I still had doubt. I've never, to this day, thank God for your show, or I'd never, whether or not I was the natural father, never.
If you would have showed up for court, you would have known.
I couldn't show up for
I got there just fine.
I'm sure you did.
I wasn't busy running away from it. You didn't pay child support for about 8 years. Quit telling them it's 3 years. It was about 8 years.
The court order was 1995. I got arrested in 1998, so that's 3 years in my calculation.
Things are ramping up now. Mr. Menaire criticizes the justice system for what he views as an unfair sentencing over a missed court date, comparing his punishment to those convicted of more severe crimes. He stresses the severity and injustice of his imprisonment over a child support dispute. Hang on, because there's more to come that'll blow your socks off.
You know, in today's society, I think it's cruel and unusual punishment to be sentenced to 5 years in prison, rapists and murderers, and that's basically what happened. I missed a court date.
You missed being a father.
You've had these so-called results.
Just when you thought it couldn't get wilder, Ms. Sear presents what she claims is DNA evidence, proving Mr. Menaire is the father. Mr. Menaire remains skeptical, questioning the validity of the results and the circumstances under which his DNA was supposedly collected and tested. The plot thickens, so don't go anywhere. Things are about to get even spicier.
Well, she's worked for lab pretty much for the last 20 years. I'd question the validity of the results. I mean, she could get those anyway.
Hold on 1 second.
The seal was not tampered with, therefore I could not sample.
I never submitted a test. I got a hold of the court clerks. They sent me everything that's ever taken place in my file.
Twist alert. The court reviews the evidence surrounding the DNA sample collection. The judge points out discrepancies in the documentation, suggesting the sample may not have been collected as claimed. The court plans to conduct a new DNA test to ensure accuracy and fairness. Keep your eyes peeled because the truth is just around the corner.
Who's to say it was my sample? John Smith down the street, you know?
There was a laboratory test performed. I see here.
I don't think it happened at the lab, and that she's had this thing manufactured.
At a lab?
I did. Actually, at that time, I worked at a plasma center. I harvested plasma with 16-gauge needles.
Fasten your seatbelts for this critical juncture. New DNA tests are conducted with proper chain of custody and verification processes to ensure the results are accurate and reliable. The courtroom awaits these new results, which will definitively establish paternity. The upcoming moments are pivotal. Prepare to be amazed.
I don't see any information relating to the collection, the sample, nothing. Now, this court has administered nude, and both of you submitted to the test.
Feel the emotional roller coaster here. The emotional toll of the case is evident as Dylan, the son in question, expresses his mixed feelings towards Mr. Menaire. He shares his hope for a potential relationship despite the unresolved issues and doubts lingering between them. The drama escalates, so stick around to see how it unfolds.
He's been a great father to me. We've had our ups and downs. A father-son relationship should be.
Best friends.
And Chris, you've met Dylan.
I originated that.
Were you like brothers, Chris?
Absolutely.
You've seen your father treat Dylan well?
Yeah.
You'll never see this twist coming. The new DNA test results are revealed.
Mr. Manser, you are
not
Oh, God.
his father.
Oh, man.
Can you believe the tension starting right off the bat? Mrs. Johnson is in court today on a mission to save her marriage by demonstrating, with all the drama of a primetime show, that her husband is not the biological father of 13-month-old twins, Christian and Christiana. Miss Davis throws a curveball by contending that she had a passionate affair with Mrs. Johnson's husband, which led to the twins' birth. Amid the emotional turmoil, Mrs. Johnson recounts the upheaval this has caused in her family life. Just watch how the drama unfolds next. This courtroom is turning into a reality TV show.
You and your husband have been together for 5 years. You are in court to save your marriage by proving to the defendant that your husband is not the biological father, Christian and Christiana. You contend that you had a sexual relationship with the plaintiff's husband and say that led to your pregnancy and birth of your twins. You say you are Mr. Johnson's mother and you contacted the court hoping to bring closure to this ongoing DNA drama.
This revelation changes everything. Right when you thought it was just a regular paternity case, Miss Davis spills the beans about her clandestine beginnings with Mr. Johnson, kicking off their relationship without any clue he was already hitched. She stumbled upon his marital status later via some not-so-subtle Facebook stalking. This revelation adds layers of complication to the existing family drama and legal proceedings, turning the courtroom into a soap opera stage. And the plot thickens. Keep your eyes peeled.
Did you confront him about, are you married?
No, I ain't confronting him. You know, I asked him about it because it ain't my concern because you ain't my man, you know.
And so what did he say?
I want to be with you. We'll get the papers and we can go from there. I got the papers.
Oh, you told him to get the papers as in divorce papers?
Yeah.
And if he really wanted to be with you, then you would let him be with you?
Yeah, we can go from there, you know, talk about it, whatever. But see, it's another lady involved too. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The plot twists just keep coming. In a twist worthy of a daytime drama, Miss Davis admits that she initially dismissed the idea that Mr. Johnson could be the father and casually mentioned this to his mom. Meanwhile, Mrs. Johnson's world turned upside down when she bumped into Miss Davis at their shared doctor's office, exposing the tangled web of relationships and secrets. You won't believe the roller coaster ride coming up next.
That like a month ago before you just didn't went with the other lady.
It wasn't a month.
It was.
It been way more than a month ago. I'd say maybe at least 3 months when she heard from
What you say?
we ain't gonna never.
You do admit, though, I mean, Miss Johnson has testified to this, and you said too because of your denial. You admit that initially you told Mr. Johnson and his mother these are not his children.
Yeah.
And so you now believe the twins are his children.
One of them, because they fraternal, they was in different sets.
You'll be on the edge of your seat here. Amidst the chaos, Miss Davis, feeling the pressure, fumbles over which twin she believes might be Mr. Johnson's, highlighting the confusion and emotional chaos swirling through the courtroom. Mrs. Johnson stands her ground, vowing to stick by her man despite the storm brewing around them. The emotional stakes are high, and the next reveal is just around the corner. Don't blink or you'll miss it.
Who do you believe fathered your boy twin?
My ex.
Does that mean you had sex with both gentlemen?
I probably had sex with him at night. I probably laid on a couple days, probably had sex with that.
So, Mr. Johnson, have you met the twins?
Yes, Your Honor. I met them multiple times. I haven't actually spent time with them.
You have?
Yes.
This explanation might just change everything. Grab some popcorn, because Dr. Jackie enters with a plot twist that sounds straight out of a sci-fi novel. Super fecundation. Twins with different dads, because why not complicate things further? The DNA test results finally come in.
Hello, Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie, we are here discussing the paternity matter related to beautiful twins Christian and Christiana.
Something in medicine we call superfecundation, basically saying a female will ovulate more than one egg in that one ovulatory cycle.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Johnson, you are not the father.
I'm fine.
Get ready for a curveball right from the start. Ms. Alexander lays down the heavy reason they're all here today. Her son, Nicholas, kicked off a paternity case because he was doubting whether he fathered Ms. Jackson's child. Tragically, just 2 weeks after he made that call, he died in a sudden accident, propelling his family to see the case through to the end. The plot thickens, and you won't believe what's up next.
Ms. Alexander, you and your daughter are here today because your son contacted paternity court. He was seeking a DNA test on a baby he was unsure. Sadly, just 2 weeks later, he died in a tragic act. You have the court's deepest condolence.
Here comes a twist that'll make your head spin. Ms. Jackson drops a bombshell by admitting Nicholas had every reason to question the baby's paternity, since she was also seeing another man around the time of conception. This admission sets the courtroom buzzing and lays the groundwork for a tangled web of personal drama. Hang on to your seats. The revelations are just getting started.
You say you were having sexual relations with both him and another man.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell the court, what
what brought you here today?
I came here on behalf of Nick. He had started this process about 2 weeks before he died for a paternity test.
Things heat up with some spicy back and forth accusations. In a fiery exchange, there's a clash over who was actually present at the hospital when the baby was born, with contradicting claims throwing more fuel on the doubt fire. Each statement adds more intrigue to the mystery of the baby's paternity. Brace yourself. The next part ramps up the tension even further.
At it and looked at
That's
the
not
child,
true.
and they said it didn't look like them, and they doubted. They
That
said,
is
"Man,
not
you
true.
stand."
Only
That's
person
not true.
that stayed, he was the stand-up guy. He
I always told him
So,
never to be.
were there multiple
No, other but my
when
boyfriend.
the baby was born?
No, than my boyfriend.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more heartfelt, Ms. Jackson shares a tender moment. She recounts how Nicholas embraced the baby at the hospital, joyfully participating in the birth, showing potential signs of accepting fatherhood. This poignant moment paints a picture of Nicholas as possibly a committed dad-to-be. But hold on, there's more emotional roller coaster rides ahead.
And people that came with him.
So after William Nicholas accept him as his son,
I do have a picture of him holding him when Will came out after I got done holding him.
He was excited.
he did accept him, or the
He-
father of this
he
child,
accepted
even though you
because-
expressed it, there was a chance he was not.
Yes, because he told me he felt in his heart that that was his son.
Now, dive into the nitty-gritty of why a paternity test wasn't done right off the bat. The court explores the reasons behind the delay, with Ms. Jackson outlining the bureaucratic and logistical hurdles that prevented an immediate paternity test post-birth. This adds a layer of real-world frustration to the drama. Up next, witness how family dynamics explode into the conversation.
I did try to get a paternity test the day Will was born, but the hospital told me we had to go to another place because I had to open up a case for child support against him for me to take that DNA.
About 2 weeks before Nicholas died, they hooked up to go to child support. I had talked Nicholas into doing that because I said, he's yours.
April comes out swinging in defense of Nicholas's role as a supportive partner and potential dad. She passionately argues against the claims that Nicholas had doubts, emphasizing his consistent presence and communication. Her fierce defense highlights the deep emotional stakes involved. The air's about to get even thicker with the next jaw-dropping exchange.
He didn't sign the birth. He had to have his ID to sign the birth certificate. He never took it back up there.
But he called his mom and I told him
I never did say he gonna call the birthday. He just gonna sign the birth certificate.
I said, have you signed anything? He said, no, mama, but they brought. I said, get your butt out of there. I said, better not. I said, you better not sign nothing.
The atmosphere charges up as motives are questioned with an eye on financial implications. In a pivotal moment, the discussion turns to why Ms. Jackson sought Nicholas's death certificate so soon after his passing, hinting at potential financial desperation intertwined with the hardships of single motherhood. The stage is set for an even more heated debate just around the corner.
You didn't have to come. Hold on, lady. A couple of days after the memorial, wanting a copy of Nick's death certificate. What that tell you? You want some money, though, right? Why you can't go to the other
Excuse
men?
me. And only reason I asked for his death certificate because I am a single mother. I stay with my daddy right now, but I am a single mother. I just got finished with high school.
The tension is palpable as everyone braces for the DNA results.
That Mr. Nicholas Alexander is not the father.
Yes, I wish it would have been different. I really do. We clicked.
In a twist that sounds straight out of a daytime TV drama, Mr. Zara is back, and he's not happy. After his last heart-wrenching visit to the courtroom, where he found out he wasn't the biological father of one child, he now harbors doubts about the paternity of another child, an 8-month-old daughter. The audience gasps in disbelief as the plot thickens. Get ready for the roller coaster ride to the next revelation.
You confess you walked away devastated upon finding out you were not the biological father of the defendant's son. Experience has left you in doubt about whether you're the father of her 8-month-old daughter.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, enter Ms. Nadeau. She admits to the shock of her life when previous results revealed Mr. Zara's best friend was actually the father of her son. Denying any further scandal, she asserts there's no way Mr. Zara's other suspicions could be true, igniting a fiery debate in the courtroom. You'll want to stick around because it only gets more tangled from here.
You had the shock of your life when the results were read and you learned Mr. Zara's best was the father of your son. The man seated next to me could be your daughter's biological father. There's no way that's true.
Hold on to your seats because the drama level is about to skyrocket. Amidst the growing suspense, the judge dives into the complex details as Mr. Zara pushes for a lie detector test for Ms. Nadeau to unearth how many potential fathers might be out there. The crowd murmurs with anticipation as secrets threaten to spill. Brace yourselves. The truth is about to surface.
Take a lie detector test to determine how many other men are potential potential fathers.
Number one, she's like a whore, Your Honor.
Let's use respectful language, promiscuous.
Yes, and she sleeps with everybody I know, pretty much.
For the last particular hearing, it was unfortunately revealed you were not the father.
Yes.
Wait, there's a twist. Mr. Zara throws another curveball, suggesting Mr. McCaffrey could be the father of the child in question. Mr. McCaffrey shocks the courtroom by admitting to unprotected encounters with Ms. Nadeau, adding layers to the mystery. Fasten your seatbelts. We're about to dive deeper into this soap opera.
Were you intimate with Ms. Nadeau?
Yes, Your Honor.
Without protection?
Yes.
And so your contention is you were intimate with him for the window of conception?
Yes. I got pregnant with Ariella. I was only sleeping with Mr. Zara.
Just when you think you've seen it all, Mr. Zara brings in a surprise witness. Mr. Amaral steps into the courtroom, claiming he's seen Ms. Nadeau and Mr. McCaffrey together during the critical time of conception, suggesting more than a platonic relationship. As eyebrows raise, prepare for what comes next. It's a doozy.
Mr. Zara, you say you brought a surprise witness. Jerome, please report this witness in. I want to hear from you. Mr. Emerald, thank you for joining us today. We are here discussing the paternity of baby Ariella.
Cue the dramatic music because Mr. McCaffrey is about to spill some serious tea. He casually describes his relationship with Ms. Nadeau as laid back and purely for fun, directly placing him with her around the possible time of conception. As the plot thickens, you won't believe what's coming up next in this saga.
First, I was mad that he was with Kayla because, like I said, she was my girl.
But your
And then
friends,
people are
best
telling me
friends.
that she's now pregnant with Tommy's daughter, but she's doing the same thing to Tommy that she did. But the other guy is not here, so I'm not going to use his name. He was allegedly messing
I would
around
love
with that.
to know
that
who
was
this
So,
other
Mr.
person is.
McCaffrey,
Yes, Your Honor.
you admit you were intimate with Ms. Nadeau?
Yes.
As if we weren't already on the edge of our seats, the discussion turns to the much-anticipated lie detector test. Accusations fly as Mr. Zara labels Ms. Nadeau a liar, which she hotly disputes, arguing that deception isn't limited to just her side. The air crackles with tension as the moment of truth approaches. Stay tuned, because the next part is a real cliffhanger.
Just look at it. It's a picture of our eye, mine and the baby's eyes.
The looks really have nothing to do with it.
This is a picture
Nor does
of
the
your
snow on the
eye
ground.
split with
Ariella's.
baby Ariella. The two witnesses, thank you so much for your testimony. You may have a... Mr. Zara, you also petitioned the court for a lie detector test. Why?
She lies to me all the time.
Get ready for the grand reveal. Finally, the DNA results are disclosed.
It has been determined by this court that her father is Mr. Zara.
You have a lot of things to do. A lot.